let's take a look at this review. And, okay. Problem number 1. So I'm making my pen to work. There we go. Says, translate each English phrase in the following problem into an algebraic expression and set up the related equation. Let z be the unknown number. Okay, some number minus 3 is equal to the product of number and 12. What is a number? And it guides us step by step through this. It says translate some number minus 3. Well, that'd be z minus 3. It's like our first part. Step 2, translate the product of the number and 12. Well, product means multiplication. So we'll have number and 12, which would be z times 12 or 12z. Then our third step, write out the equation. Okay, some number minus 8 or minus 3. So some number minus 3 is equal product of the number and 12. So it's equal to 12z. And just says translate, doesn't say to actually solve these. So now I'm gonna, each one of these I'm gonna check my answer on. Okay, z minus 3 equals 12z. I have a problem that I don't read a problem real close, so I'm gonna need to double check them. Don't do what I do. Read carefully. Don't skim it. So I'm gonna get my pen, or there it is. Still not there. Okay. Number 2. Set up the equation for the following word problem and solve the equation. Okay. Did the other one say solve? Oh, do not solve. Okay, this one says solve. Let y be the unknown number. What number should be added to negative 76 to get a sum of 61? What number should be added to negative 76? So we're going to have y plus negative 76 to get a sum of 61. Okay, to get a sum, the to get is like the equals. So what number should be added to negative 76 to get 61? Well, that plus parentheses minus, that's one of our shortcuts. That becomes y minus 76 equals 61. I'm going to take this 76, move it over to the right side. So we got y is equal to 61 plus 76, which gives us 137, I believe, which should be our answer. Okay, let me double check myself here. 137. Okay, that looks good. Okay, problem number 3. Set up the equation for the following word problem, solve it. Let y be the unknown number. 95 times a number minus 21 is equal. Now the is equals where your equals goes, of course. 95 times a number, that's 95y. So 95 times a number minus 21. Well, that means minus 21. And again, is equals where that equals goes. Is equal to 64 less than a number. So this would be y minus 64. You have to read it really carefully. 64 less than a number. If it said 64 less the number, didn't have the than there, then this would be 64 minus y. Okay, now we want to solve this. First step, get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step, get everything with y on one side, numbers on the other side. So I'll take that y over the left side, take negative 21 over to the right side. Now you take anything across your equals, your sign changes, so the positive y becomes a negative y. The negative 21 becomes a positive 21. Combine together like terms in a step. 95y minus y is 94y. Combine together numbers in a step. Negative 64 plus 21 is 43? Yeah, negative 43. Okay, last step. Divide both sides by the number in front of your y. So we're going to divide both sides by 94. And we get y is equal to negative 43 over 94. I don't think that simplifies. 43, negative 43, I can't see what would go into it. So let me check my answer. Okay, negative 43 over 94. Good so far. I don't guarantee I'll be that way on all these word problems, but we'll see. Okay, problem number 4. Consecutive integer problem. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is negative 261. Find the 3 integers. Well, 3 consecutive integers. Well, x is going to be our first one. Now, consecutive integers, let me think what that says. That's like 3, 4, 6. So going from 3 to 4, think what you did. You added 1. So for our second one, and let me get rid of some of these. I put that in the wrong order. I mean, it'd work what I did, but we're going to have our first one. This is the order I did in class. We'll have our second one, and we'll have our third one. And our first one is x. Okay, now we got 3, 4, and 5. These are just numbers I'm making up, have nothing to do with the problem. This is our first consecutive integer, and this is our second one. Think what you did to go from 3 to 4. You added 1. Well, to go from this one to this one, I'm going to add 1. So I got x plus 1. Now to go from the 3 to the 5, we added 2. So to go from this one to this one, we're going to add 2. Now they told us that those added together, x plus 1 plus x plus 2 is going to equal to negative 261. I guess I didn't read the question carefully. It says use n, but it doesn't matter what variable. Okay, always combine together like terms. X plus x is 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Is equal to negative 261. First step, get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. Don't have any. Third step, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other sides. So I take that 3 over. You take anything across your equals, your sign changes, so the positive 3 becomes a negative 3. Okay, add numbers at any step. That gives us negative 264. And last step is divide both sides by a number in front of your x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And we get negative 8, 24, negative 88. Okay, now that's our first one. So this is negative 88, and this is our second one, but I'm adding 1. This will be negative 87. Because negative 88 plus 1 is negative 87. And then this would be negative 86. So those would be our answers. Let me check. Okay. Negative 88, negative 87, and negative 86. That looks good. Let me start a new page. And let's go on to the next problem. Number 5. Consider the following consecutive integer problem. Okay, sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 39. Okay, so this is different. So we got our first odd, we got our second odd, and we got our third odd. Okay, first one's always x. Now let me come up with examples. Let's say 3, 5, and 9. These are consecutive odd integers. Now think what we did to go from the 3 to the 5. We added 2. So to go from this one to this one, we're going to add 2. Now to go from our first odd integer to our last odd integer, we added, that shouldn't be a 9, it should be a 7. I better go back to bed. Okay, go 3, 5, 7, consecutive odd integers. To go from the 3 to the 7, we added 4. So to go from this first one to our last one, we're going to add 4. So that's our setup. Okay, I told you I'd make a mistake. Caught that one though. Okay, these are going to add up to something probably. X plus 2 plus x plus 4. Sum of the consecutive odd integers is 39. Okay, x plus x is 3x. Combine like terms. 2 plus 4 is 6. Equals 39. Okay, first step, get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step, get everything with the x on one side, numbers on the other side. So I'm going to take the 6 and move it over to the right side. It becomes a negative 6. 39 minus 6 is 33. And then last step is to divide both sides by a number in front of your x. So divide both sides by 3, and we get x is equal to 11. Okay, so if this one's 11, then this one has to be 13, and this one has to be 15. And let me double check those. Okay. 11, 13, 15. Okay, that looks good. Let's take a look at number 6. And I'll get there eventually. Where's my... Okay. Consider the following consecutive integer problems. Sum of 3 consecutive even integers. Okay. So we got our first even. We got our second even. And we got our third even. And the first one's always x. Let's come up with examples. Think this through. Consecutive even integers. 2, 4, 6 would be an example. Now, we're going to go from the first one to the second one. So going from the first one to the second one here, think what did you do? Well, we added 2. Well, go from this one to this one, we're going to add 2. I always come up with a simple number example over here so I can wrap my mind around the setup. Now I'm going from the first one to the third one. So going from the first one here to the third one, I added 4. So going from the first one to the third one here, we'll add 4. Okay, now these probably add up to something. So x plus 2 plus x plus 4 is going to equal negative 102. Okay, combine together like terms. X plus x is 3x. 2 plus 4 is 6. Equals negative 102. First step, get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So I'll take the 6 and move it over. And it becomes a negative 6. Combine those numbers, that gives us negative 108. Last step, divide both sides by a number in front of your x. We're going to divide both sides by 3. And we get x equal negative 36. Okay, well if this one's negative 36, and then this one I add 2. So negative 36 plus 2 is negative 34. This one I add well I'll go from negative 36 plus 4, that's negative 32. Seems kind of weird when you have negatives, but that's the way it works. Okay, now we double check. Negative 36, negative 34, negative 32. Okay, still good. So let's look at our next problem. Number 7. And actually, let me grab a drink here first. Sum of 3 consecutive integers is negative 270. Consecutive integers. So we got our first one. We got our second one. And we got our third one. Okay, first one's always x. Let me think of consecutive integers. That'd be like 1, 2, 3. So going from our first one to our second one, well, think what we did over here. We added 1. So going from here to here, we're going to add 1. Now going from our first one to our third one, we added 2. So going from our first one to our third one here, we're going to add 2. Okay, so those added together are going to give us something. Let's see what they add up to. Negative 270. Lots of negatives here. X plus x plus x is 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Equals negative 270. And now we're going to go through our 4 steps for solving linear equations. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step is get everything with an x on one side and numbers on the other. So take 3 over. Take anything over, the sign changes, so it becomes a negative 3. Which gives us negative 273. Last step is to divide both sides by a number in front of your x. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. And that gives us negative 91. Okay, so if this one's negative 91, this one I add 1 to it, so it gives me negative 90. And this one I add 2, and that gives us negative 89. Then those would be our consecutive integers. Negative 91, negative 90, negative 89. Okay, that looks good. Let's look at 8. Sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 33. Okay, so we got our first odd. We got our second odd. And we got our third odd. Now this is going to be x. And let's think about what a consecutive odd integer means. That means like 3, 5, 7. Now we're going from our first one to our second one. So you think, what did I do over here? I went from 3 to 5. We added 2. So if we're going from here to here, we add 2. Now going from the 3 to the 7, we added 4. So going from this first one to the last one, we're going to add 4. Or, yeah, add 4. Okay, now we're going to add those together. So we got x plus 2 plus x plus 4 is going to add up to 33. Combine together like terms. X plus x plus x is 3x. 2 plus 4 is 6 equals 33. Going through our 4 steps for solving linear equations. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step is get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So take 6 over. Take anything across or equals, your sign changes, so it becomes a negative 6. 33 minus 6 is 27. And then divide both sides by 3. And you get x is equal to 9. So if this one's 9, this will be 11, and this will be 13. And let's go double check that. 9, 11, 13. That looks good. Let me start a new page. Okay, ready for number 9. Okay, total, and again, I have to watch myself here because I tend not to read these close, and that's where it catches me. Total cost of a sweater and pair of pants is $87.73. If the price of the sweater is $3.94 less than the pair of pants, what is the price of the sweater? Okay, sweater and pants. Okay, and you have to decide which is going to be your x, and you have to look at which one's being put in reference to the other. What I mean by that says that the price of the sweater was $3.94 less than the pair of pants. So the sweater is being put in reference to the pants. So the pants is going to be x. Okay, price of the sweater is $3.94 less than a pair of pants. So this will be x minus 3.94. Okay, now total, those add up to $87.73. So I'm going to take my sweater plus my pants. So we got x minus 3.94 plus x is going to give us our total, which is $87.73. Okay, combine together like terms. X plus x is 2x minus 3.94 equals 87.73. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step is get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So I'll take that negative 3.94 over to the right side, and it becomes a positive 3.94. I'm not going to screw this up by trying to do it by hand. Let me get my calculator out. Okay, 87.73 plus 3.94. Okay, 91.67. Then divide both sides by 2. So divide by 2 gives us 45.835. Okay, and they say write your answer to the nearest cent. So this is our cents place, so 83 cents. So I'm going to look at the digit to the right, which is 5 or greater, which is going to give us 45.84. Now let's see what they're asking for. What is the price of the sweater? Now X was the price of the pants. So this one right here, that's what we just found. That's 45.84. Okay, now this, if I plug my X in for this, this will give me the price of the sweater. So I got 45.84 minus 3.94. 45.84 minus 3.94. And that gives us $41.90. Assuming I didn't screw it up. Let's go check. Okay. $41.90. That's a good sign. Okay, number 10. Consider the following two investment options. Investment A profit of $270 on a $600 investment, profit of $290 on a $3,000 investment. It says calculate the percentage of profit for investment A. Round to nearest hundredth, and then do it for B, and then which is better. Well, you can, one formula you can use, if you put your profit over the total amount. This, they say calculate the percentage of profit. This will give us to it in decimal form, so we'd have to multiply it by 100. Okay, so for A, we're going to have a profit of 270 on 600. So I'll put 270 over 600, and then multiply that times 100. So 270 divided by 600 times 100 gives us 45%. And our second part for B, 290 over 3,000. Oops, times 100. So 290 over 3,000 times 100. And round to the nearest hundredth of a percent. Now what I came up with is I came up with 9.666 bunch of sixes percent. Now when I say round to the nearest hundredths, the TH on there tells us this place right here. And we'll go to the right of it, so this would give us 9.67. We round up because that's 5 or greater. And then C, the one that's greater, of course, is the first investment, investment A. It's assuming that's what's asking me. Let me see. Which is a better investment? Yeah, it was. Okay. Okay, so we got 45, 9.67, and investment A. That looks good. Let's start a new page. And let's go to 11. says find the unknown quantity in the given percent problem. 60% of 169 is 60% of 169 is question mark, which I'll put blank. Okay, now the is your equals, and of course this question mark, this blank is your x. And then of means multiplication, so that's telling us to take 60% times 169. Now you always want to change your percent to decimal form, and you do that by moving your decimal place 2 places to the left. So that'll be 0.60 times 169. Let's see, 0.6 times 169. 101.4. What does it say for rounding? It doesn't say. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and leave it that way then. 101.4. And that seems reasonable. 60% of 169 does seem like 101.4. But let's check. Yeah, 101.4. Let's look at 12. See, a real estate agent works on an 8% commission. What is her commission on a house that she sold for $704,600? Okay. The formula for this is we got our commission is equal to your commission rate times house price. Probably more accurately, that'd be the how much it's sold for, but that's sometimes different than house price. Okay. It says what is her commission? So we're trying to find the commission, so I'll just put an X in there for that. Now commission rate told us was 8% times the house price, which is $704,600. $704,600. Well, the 8% will change the decimal. You always want to change the decimal before you start working a problem. So then we got 0.08 times 704,600, which gives us the commission will be 56,368. 56,368. Okay, so far so good. Number 13. Okay, a student missed 16 problems on a physics test and received a grade of 45%. If all the problems were of equal value, how many problems were on the test? Round off your answer nearest janitor. Okay, equal value. How many problems were on the test? 16. Received a grade of this. Okay, now the formula usually for this is let me think of a simple example. Okay, I give 10 problems on a test, for example. If they get 5 right, and this is how many there is total, that times 100 is going to give me my percent grade. Okay, and that's not what they're giving us here. Student missed 16 problems. That's not how many got right. We don't know how many there was. It says how many problems were on the test, so that's X. So that's our total. Now the number we got right, if we miss 16 of them, then X minus 16 will give us how many we got right. For example, if I had 30 problems, then if I do 30 minus 16, we missed 16 of them. That means I got 14 right. Okay, I'm thinking through this myself. Okay, so then times 100 is going to give us our percent, which is 45. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. Now, I did this simple number example here just to wrap my mind around the formula. Has nothing to do with this. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Actually, I can multiply this 100 through. So that's like 100 times x minus 16 over x equals 45, which gives us 100x minus 100 times 16 is 1600 over x equals 45. Okay, first step, solving linear equations. Get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. I do have a fraction. Multiply everything by the LCM of all your denominators. We only have one denominator, so that is our LCM. So we're going to multiply that times this fraction here. And we'll multiply it times the 45. Now when you do that, these x's are going to cancel. And I end up with 100x minus 1600 equals 45x. Okay. That was first step, get rid of parentheses. Second step was get rid of fractions. Third step, get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So take 45x over here, take negative 1600 over here. And so we get 100x minus 45x is equal to 1600. 100x minus 45x is 55x. Combine together like terms at any step equals 1600. And then last step, divide both sides by the number in front of your x, which is 55. That's not comforting. 29. Actually, I came up with 29.09, which if I round like normal would be 29 problems. Okay. Let's see if that even seems feasible. If I think of this percent right over the total times 100. Okay, if I put 29 in both places here, 29 minus 16 is 13, divided by my total, which is 29 times 100, 44.827. Okay. Probably if I had read it said it would round, but okay, round off your answer to the nearest integer. Okay, so they're implying that you do get decimals. Okay, I feel better now. Let me go check the answer though. Yeah, 29. That one wasn't very easy. Okay. Oops. Number 14. 14. It says the property taxes on a business office were $3,976. What was the tax rate if the business office was valued at $260,000? Round your answer to the nearest hundredth of a percent. Tax, the property taxes was this. Tax rate was this. Okay. Okay, so we got our value. Thinking of the formula now. We take our value times the tax rate is going to give us our total tax. So let's see what they give us. The value, they tell us the business office was valued at $260,000. So I got $260,000. Tax rate was what we're trying to find, so that's going to be our x. And total tax is $3,976. Well, this is again a linear equation. I go straight down to step 4, which says divide both sides by a number in front of your x. So divide both sides by 260,000. And we get x is equal to 3976 divided by 260,000. That gives us 0.0152923,077. Round to the nearest hundredth of a percent. Let's first change it to percent form. So I move my decimal place 2 places to the right, so I get 1.52923077%. And round it to hundredths. This would be the hundredths place right here. That's tenths, this is hundredths. I look to the right of it, and it's 5 or greater, so I'm going to round up. So this becomes x is equal to 1.53%. And let's check my work. 1.53%. Okay, that looks good. So let's look at 15. Okay, the discount on a new refrigerator was 210. This was a discount of 17%. What was the original price? What was the sale price? Discount was this, percent was this. Okay, now typical setup on this would be your original price minus, we're discounting it, so I'm taking my original price times my discount rate. Assuming I could write there, discount rate. And this is going to give me my sale price. I'll put SP for sale price. Now, another name for this right here is this is actually our discount. Okay, and so this right here, I could break that off separate, and I could say the discount is going to equal to the original price times the discount rate. And I'll just say D. Okay, the original price, actually I don't want to put D there. The discount, they tell us, was 210. So they're giving us that. The original price is what they're wanting us to find in step 1. So we want to find OP. Now the discount rate, they tell us, was 17%. And so I'll put 17% there. Now always we want that in decimal form. So I'm going to take my 17% and make it 0.17. Now to solve for original price, we divide both sides by 0.17. And when I do that, 0.17 cancels. And our original price is equal to something. 210 divided by 0.17. What do they want us to round it to? Hundredths. Okay, because that came up with 1, 2, 3, 5. That seems like a high price for a refrigerator. Maybe I haven't bought a refrigerator for a while. Okay, 294,118. Now the hundredths is this place right here. Now look to the place to the right of it, which is less than 5, so I round down. So my original price is going to be 1,235.29. So we know basic math error. Okay. What was the sale price? Okay, so now know OP, and we know discount rate. So sale price, that's our first answer. Sale price is equal to OP minus original price, OP, times the discount percent, the discount rate. Okay. I just was getting lazy, didn't want to write discount rate down. Okay, so original price we just said was 1,235.29 minus 1,235.29 times my discount percent, which is 17%. And I'll go ahead and put it in decimal form. So let's see what that gives us. 1235.29 minus 1235.29 times 0.17. And I get the sale price. The sale price was 1,225.29, rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, what's C say? What would a customer pay for a refrigerator if 7% sales tax was added to the sale price? Added to the sale price. Okay. Okay, so we got our this is part C up here. We got our sale price plus sale price times our tax rate, which is 7%. So we're going to have 1,025.29 plus 1,025.29 times 0.07. 1,025.29. I hate word problems. 1,025.29 Yes, they upset the beauty of algebra. Times 0.07. Okay, so then that gives us 1097.06 rounded 2 decimal places. Let's go see if I'm wrong. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a high price, but looks like 1235.29, that's correct. 1025.29, that's correct. And 1097.06, that looks correct. Okay, number 16. Let's see. Jenny needs to find height of a parallelogram. Okay. The base is 9 inches long. Area is 45 square inches. What is the height? Without substitution, solve the formula for the unknown variable in terms of the known variables. Okay, I'm going to cheat. I don't remember the formula for that. Formula for a parallelogram. Okay. Well, that's really great. Parallelogram. Base is 9. Area is 46. Okay, area. So we're talking about base and area. Okay, so area and base. What if I can derive it? Okay, let's see. Let's see if I split those off. Remember my trig from way back when. Okay, this is the base, or not trig, geometry. And let me look up the area of a parallelogram. It's height. That's gonna take forever. Okay, well let me grab a book somewhere here. I could probably actually I'll just work it backwards. Ooh, what's this down here? Okay, nothing useful. Okay. Working it backwards, our area would be base times height. Okay. So this is our height here. So area is equal to base times height. Now that I got that, let me go. Okay. What is without substitution? Solve the formula for the unknown variable in terms of the known variables. Okay. So they tell us base is 9. Let's put 9 in there. And then h. Did they say without substitution? They did, didn't they? Okay. So to solve for unknown variable, we don't know h. So we want to solve for h. So remember our 5 steps. First step is get rid of parentheses. Don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions. Don't have any. Third step is to get everything with the variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side, and we solve them for h. So that's done. Step 4, factor out the variable you're solving for if it's necessary, but you have to have 2 or more of them, remember. Our last step, divide both sides by what's in front of / back of the variable we're solving for. There's a b in front of it, so we'll divide both sides by b. And those b's cancel. And we got h is equal to a over b. And let's check that answer. H is equal to a over b. Okay. So let's look at our next one. And this is going to be great if I have to remember the formula for area of a trapezoid. is a trapezoid? Area of a trapezoid. Area. Yeah. Okay. Find height. Height of the trapezoid. If I got a book here somewhere that has that in there. Let's see, that's that one. Area of a trapezoid. Trapezoid. Sorry about this. I should have these memorized, but I don't teach geometry, so. And run across these once in a blue moon. No trapezoid in that book. Let's see if this comes up. Okay. Area of a trapezoid. Oops. I had it. There it is. Okay, area is equal to a plus b over 2 times h. Okay, let's see what else they're giving us then. Okay, area is 11 without substitution. So they're telling us that area is 11. One base is 4 meters long and the other 7. Let's go back and look at our picture. A, it looks like the smaller one, and B is the larger one. So A would be 4, little a that is, and B would be, was it 7? Yeah. Find the height of the trapezoid. Okay, well that's h. So we're trying to find h. Okay, they don't want us actually to plug those in. They say without substitution, so we want to solve for h. Now, we got a plus b, and that's multiplied times h. So there's implied times in there. If you're going to multiply fractions, they both should be fractions. So I could put the h over 1. And then I'll put these together. So I'll multiply the top parts, and I'll multiply the bottom parts. And multiplication is commutative, so you can flip them around like that. Okay, h times a is ah, and h times b is bh over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, now we're solving for h. We're going to go through our 5 steps. Actually, let me write down the steps here. Okay, first step, get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step, get rid of fractions. Multiply everything by the LCM of all your denominators. We only have one denominator, so it is our LCM, so multiply both sides by 2. So take 2 times a and 2 times this fraction. Do that, those 2's going to cancel. 2 times uppercase a equals lowercase ah plus hb or bh. I don't know why I put that in order. Usually you put in alphabetical order. Maybe my handwriting is so bad that was supposed to be a b. That's supposed to be a b. Never mind. Step 3. Get everything with a variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side. We're solving for h. Everything with an h is already over here, and everything else is over here. So that's done. When I say everything, I'm talking about terms. Step 4. If necessary, factor out the variable you're solving for. Well, we're solving for h, and we got 2 h's. If you got 2 or more h's, then you factor it out. So I'll take an h out, and that leaves us a plus b. Last step. Divide both sides by the what's in front of / back of the variable you're solving for. There's an a plus b after it, so I'm going to divide both sides by a plus b. Lowercase a, that is. Now when I do that, these a plus b is going to cancel. And we got 2a over little a plus b is equal to h. And that's our answer. Let's go check. If I can get back to the answers here. H is equal to 2a. Different variable, but same idea. They used b and c, where I used a and b from that Google picture. But anyway, we got the right answer. Okay, 1900, 900. I hope we're done with these. We have to know the formula. Oh, I should be able to handle this one. A rectangle. Okay, it says the perimeter of a rectangle is 28 feet. If the length is 6 feet, find the width. First choose the correct formula. Well, the perimeter is the distance around. And so we got L here, W here, W here. So our formula is P is equal to 2L plus 2W. Okay. Step 2. Without substitution, solve the formula for the unknown variable. Well, let's see what they give us. Perimeter is 28, so they're telling us P is 28. Okay. Length is 6, so L is 6. So I guess W is the one we don't know. So we want to solve it for W. So we're going to go through our 5 steps. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step, get everything with the variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side. So I'll take this 2L, move it over. And it becomes a negative 2L. Step 4, we don't have to do. It's not. We don't got 2 W's over here. Step 5, divide both sides by what's in front of / back of the variable you're solving for. Well, there's a 2 in front of it, so I divide both sides by 2. Now, my answer may differ than the books here, so we'll see, or the key. Sometimes they'll divide the entire fraction by 2. Sometimes they'll divide each individual piece by 2. But anyway, those 2's cancel. In case you're wondering, both are correct. And W is equal to P minus 2L over 2. Okay. Step 3. Finally solve the problem for the unknown value of the variable by substituting appropriate values into it. Okay, they tell us P is 28 minus 2 times L, which is 6, all over 2 is equal to W. So 2 times 6 is 12 over 2 equals W, which gives us 16 over 2 equals W, or W is equal to 8. So there's our formula. There's our formula solved for W, and this is our answer. So, assuming no basic math error. Okay, let's see. They tell us A is the answer, or the formula, which we knew. W is equal to P minus 2L over 2. That's correct. And then the answer is 8. Okay, let's take a look at number 19. Let me grab a drink here. What's this say? Circumference of a circle is 6 pi inches. Find the radius. First choose correct formula. Now circumference is equal to 2 pi r. These ones I know. Use these quite a bit in trig. And use these a lot in calculus and so forth. Okay, what do they give us? Circumference is 6 pi, so it's telling us C is 6 pi. Find the radius. Okay, so correct formula, 2 pi r would be C. So anyway, that's our correct formula. Without substitution, solve the formula for the unknown variable. Okay, so we don't know r, so we're going to solve for r. Go through our 5 steps. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step is get everything with the variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side. That's done. Step 4, if necessary, factor out the variable you're solving for. It's not. We only got one r. Step 5, divide both sides by what's in front of / back of the variable we're solving for. There's a 2 pi in front of it, so we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi. Now when I do that, these 2's going to cancel, these pi is going to cancel. And we get r is equal to C over 2 pi. And then 3 says find what they really want. Round your answer to 2 decimal places. Okay, so we said C was 6 pi. So put 6 pi in for the C over 2 pi is equal to r. Pi is going to cancel, and 6 divided by 2 is 3, so we got r is equal to 3. What if I was supposed to have decimals? Okay. 2 pi r. R is equal to c over 2 pi. And our answer is 3. Okay. That looks good. Let me start a new page. Okay. Number 20. It says, James earned $600 in interest after 5 years. If the amount invested was $1,000, find the rate of interest. Okay, so this is an interest problem. Interest is equal to principal times rate times time. What do they give us? James earned $600 in interest, so I is 600. After 5 years, so T is 5. If the amount invested was 1,000, so that's P. Find a rate of interest. So we don't know R, so that's what we're trying to find. It says, without substitution, solve the formula for the unknown variable in terms of the known variables. We don't know R, so we're solving for R. Okay, through our 5 steps. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is to get rid of fractions, don't have any. Third step, get everything with the variable we're solving for on one side, everything else on the other side. We're solving for R, so I have everything with the R here, everything else over here. So that's done. Excuse me. Step 4. If necessary, factor out the variable you're solving for. Well, we only have one R, so we don't have to do that. Step 5. Divide both sides by what's in front of / back of the variable you're solving for. There's a P in front of the R and there's a T after it. So divide both sides by PT. Now we do that. The P's will cancel here, the T's will cancel. And we got R is equal to I over PT. R is equal to I over PT. Okay, that looks good. Number 21. It's never ending. It took Gustavo 3 hours to drive to a football game. On the way home, he's able to increase his average speed by 20 miles per hour and make the return drive in only 2 hours. Find his average speed on the return drive. Okay. Here's Gustavo. Here's going. And here's Gustavo returning. First thing is, as I wrote this down, if you're going or you're returning, the distance is the same. So let's see here. Okay. Now, first thing I notice again is that whether you're going or returning, distance is the same. So that's something to keep in mind. Now remember, our formula for distance is equal to rate times time. Let's see what they give us. It took 3 hours to drive to a football game. Okay, so the time going was 3 hours. On the way home, he's able to increase his average speed by 20 miles per hour and make the return drive in only 2 hours. So here, the time was 2 hours. Okay, so here, this was going a certain rate. And on the way home, he's able to increase his average speed by 20, which means he was going 20 miles per hour faster. So, for example, if he was going 40 miles per hour going, then increasing it by 20 would be 40 plus 20 would be 60 miles per hour returning. Okay, now very important concept here is that this distance is equal to this distance. So the distance going is going to equal to the distance of returning. Now distance, remember, is rate times time. So here we got time, which is 3, and we got the rate, which is just R. So the rate times time here would be r times 3. Now over here, it'll also be rate times time, but rate was r plus 20, and then time is 2. Okay, well r times 3 is 3r, and if I multiply that through the distributive property, 2 times r is 2r, 2 times 20 is 40. Okay, take the 2r over to the left side, and we got 3r minus 2r is equal to 40. So r is equal to 40. Yeah, that's one I made up, wasn't it? I said it was 40. I just got lucky when I said that, assuming it's correct. Let's see if that makes sense. If I had to put 40 in here, 40 times 3 is 120. If I put 40 in here, 40 plus 20 is 60 times 2, that's 120. Okay, now let's see what in the world they're asking for. Okay. Find his average speed on a return drive. Okay, well, if he's going 40, going there, found this is 40, then returning would be 40 plus 20, or 60 is our answer. 60. Where's 6? There it is, 60. Okay, so we came up with the right answer. Yes, it is in question when I'm working distance problems. I'm not that great at them. Okay, that was 21. I didn't quite follow directions. It said use the box and set it up, but you get the idea. Okay, another one, distance one. Okay, 2 trains, which are 2,820 miles apart, fly toward each other. So here's plane 1, and here's plane 2. And they're flying toward each other. Okay. Their speeds differ by 55 miles per hour. Which are 2,820 miles apart. So it tells us total distance between the two planes is 2,820. Their speeds differ by 55 miles per hour. So if this one's going r, then this one you could say is going 55 miles per hour faster. Now what I'm specifying here is I'm saying r is my slower plane. So then this would be my faster plane. Okay. If they pass each other in 4 hours, what is the speed of each? Which tells me that for each one of these, my time that each one of them has been going will be 4 hours. Now these are working together to achieve this distance. So the distance of plane 1 plus the distance of plane 2 is going to give you your total distance, which is 2,820. Now remember, your formula for distance is rate times time. So take this r times 4, or 4r, plus, and take a rate times our time here. And I wrote r there, but that should be t. So I take 4 times r plus 55 is 2,820. Okay. Multiply the 4 through, get rid of parentheses. 4 times r is 4r plus 4 times 55. 220 equals 2,820. 4r plus 4r is 8r plus 220 equals 2,820. And I want to get r's by itself and numbers over on the other side, so take 220 over. And let's see what that gives us. $2,600. Then divide both sides by 8. And divide by 8. 325. Let's see what they're asking for. What is the speed of each? Okay. Well, this is the speed of our slower plane, so that's a slower one. Our faster one is r plus 55. So if we put 325 in for r, plus 55 gives us 380. So slower plane is 325, faster plane is 380. Okay, so far so good. Okay. Trains. Okay, train leaves Orlando. Train leaves Orlando at 1 p.m. A second train leaves the same city, traveling the same direction at 4 p.m. Second train travels 30 miles per hour faster than the first. Second train overtakes. What's the speed of each of the two trains? Great. I hate these. Train 1. Train 2. Okay, they're leaving at the same time, going in the same direction. Like that. And train leaves Orlando at 1 p.m. Second train leaves the same city at 4 p.m. So 3 hours later. So if this one's time it's been going is t, let's say it's been going 2 hours. Then if this one leaves at 1 p.m., this one leaves at 4. Okay, so let's say this is the 4 p.m. train. So if this one's been traveling a distance or a time of t, this would be t plus 3. Because it left 3 hours earlier, so it's got an extra 3 hours. Okay, the second train. Okay, second train leaves the same city in direction at 4 p.m. So the 4 p.m. train is this one, so that's this one. Okay, if the second train overtakes the first at 10 p.m. Wait a minute. Second train travels 30 miles per hour faster than the first. Okay, this is my first one. If this one's going R, 30 miles per hour faster, this would be R plus 30. Okay. If the second train overtakes the first at 10 p.m., what is the speed of each of the trains? So the distance is going to be the same. That's what we're looking for. So when this is equal to this. But if this one leaves at 4 p.m., second train, which is the 4 p.m. train, overtakes the first at 10 p.m., that means it's been going 6 hours. So they're telling us, I guess, directly here that t is equal to 6. Which means this one's been going 9, which makes sense. It started at 1 o'clock and it's not 10 o'clock. That's 9 hours. Okay. So if I take the time here times the rate, we got 6 times r plus 30. And this one would be 9 times r. And now what we're doing here is distance times, or rate times time. Rate times time, that's distance. And we said we're looking where these distances are the same because the trains overtaking each other. So we'll set these equal to each other. 6 times r plus 30 is equal to 9r. So we got 6r plus 180 is equal to 9r. Take the 6r to the right side, becomes a negative 6r, which gives us 3r, and then divide both sides by 3, and we get r is equal to 60. That's this train, the 1 o'clock train. So it's going 60 miles per hour. This one's going 30 miles per hour faster, so this one will be going 90 miles per hour. And I hope and pray that this is the right answer, so I don't have to... 1690. Oh, fantastic. Okay, 1900. Next problem. How many are there? 24 to 30, I guess. Okay, last year Rachel invested money in 2 accounts. First account had an interest rate of 6%. Second account had an interest rate of 4%. If she invested 300 more in the first account than her second, and her total interest was 608, how much did she invest at each rate? Okay. First account. So 24. Let's take a look at our first account and her second account. And first account had second account had this. If she invested $300 more in the first account than the second. So the first is being put in reference to the second. So the second will be an X. Invested 300 more in the first account. So if that's X, this will be X plus 300. Now these are our amounts we're looking at here, not our percents. The percents, they just give it to us directly. Now, if you total investment, okay, so we got our first account plus our second account is going to give us our total. So you invested money in this account, you invested money in this account, so together, whatever they give you will give you your grand total. That's how much you received off your investments. Now we're going to have two quantities here. We're going to have the amount and we're going to have the percent. And here we'll have the amount in the percent. And over here they give it to us directly. They tell us total interest income was 608, so they give us that directly. Okay, for our first account, we said our amount was X plus 300. And for this amount, we said it was X. Okay, first account had an interest rate of 6%. So I'm going to put it in decimal form, so it'll be 0.06. Second account had an interest rate of 4%. So I'll put that in decimal form, that'll be 0.04. And let's solve this. Okay, so I'm going to take 0.06 times X, which gives us 0.06X. Plus 0.06 times 300. And we're using the distributive property here. 0.06 times 300 gives us 18. Plus 0.04x equals 608. Now combine together like terms in a step. 0.06x plus 0.04x. 0.06, I shouldn't have to plug this in my calculator, but I am. 0.1x plus 18 is equal to 608. Now I'm trying to get everything with an X on one side, numbers on the other side, so I take the 18 over, becomes a negative 18. 608 minus 18, 590. Okay, and trying to get the X by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 0.1. And again, I shouldn't have to do this, but I'm plugging in my calculator. I'll never get decimals. X is equal to 5,900. Now the X's, that's amount in my second account, so that's 5,900. This one is $300 more, so we got 5,900 plus 300, which gives us a total of 6,200. I'm not sure what they're asking for. How much did she invest at each rate? So 5,900 and 6,200. And let's check that. 5,900 and 6,200. That looks good. Let me start a new page. There we go. And let's look at number 25, another investment one. Let me grab a drink here. It's 25. Two investments totaling $56,500 produce an annual income of $2,480. One investment yields this, other yields this. How much is invested at each rate? Okay. So we got our first investment, first account. First investment. And we have our second investment. Now we don't know our first investment. This is X. But they tell us the total is $56,500. So this one, I'm not sure what it'll be, but it'll be $56,500 minus X. Think of it this way. If I put $20,000 in the first account, and it's supposed to add up to $56,500, Well, then to get that, I would take 56,500 minus my 20,000. And that'll give you how much is in that account. Okay. But do not take steps to solve it. Oh, solve the equation. Okay. So, again, we have our first investment plus our second investment gives us our total interest or total whatever we're talking about. So we're going to have two variables. We're going to have the amount and the percent. And we'll have the amount and we'll have the percent. These investment problems are always the same. And that's going to give us our total over here, which I think they give us our total directly. Produce an annual income of 2,480. So 2,480. Okay. Now for our first investment, it says yields 8%. So they're telling us that this one is the 8% one. The other yields 2%. So they're telling us this one is our 2%. So for our first investment, the amount is X. That's this on this side. And it's 8%, so I'll do 0.08. One in decimal form. This amount is 56,500 minus X. And that percent is 2%. Now let's solve this. So we got 0.08x plus, and I use a distributive property here. I'll take 0.02 times 56,500. 0.02 gives us 1130. And 0.02 times negative x, which gives us negative 0.02x, equals 2480. Combining like terms, 0.08x minus 0.02x gives us 0.06x, I believe, plus 1130 equals 2480. Get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other, so take that 1130 over to the right side. Becomes a negative 1130, which gives us 2480 minus 1130, 1350. And then divide both sides by the number in front of your x. So we'll divide both sides by 0.06. And I get x is equal to 22,500. So that's this first at 8%. So 22,500. Now to get this other one, we're going to take 56,500 minus 22,500. 56,500 minus 22,500. 34,000. So those would be our invested amounts. Maybe. Let me go check. 22,500, 34,000. Okay, that looks good. It's never ending. $26. Says, consider the following word problem. Jenny has 5 exam scores in her geometry. What score does she need on the final exam to have a mean of 80? All exams have a maximum of 100 points. Okay, this is a mean, average problem. So we take our 65 plus 81 plus 73 plus 90 plus 87 plus the final, which we don't know, which would be x. Okay. And the mean, you take how many you have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's what goes down here. And that should give us our mean of 80. Okay, well, let's add these numbers together. 65 plus 81 plus 73 plus 90 plus 87 gives us 396 plus x over 6 equals 80. Okay, now we're going to solve this. First step is get rid of parentheses, don't have any. Second step is get rid of fractions. Multiply everything by the LCM of all your denominators. We only have one denominator, so that is our LCM. So we're going to multiply both sides by by 6. Now when we do that, these 6 is going to cancel. And we got 396 plus x is equal to 480. Take the 396 over, we get 480 minus 396. Minus 396. And we get 84. So it needs to get an 84 in the final to get that grade. 84 to get an 80. Okay. 84. Okay, 27. Looks like another mean one. The reason I see that is I see the word mean. Okay, 27. College student realizes he's spending too much money on movies. For the remaining 5 months of the year, his goal is to spend a mean of $40 a month toward movies. How much does he spend in December, taking into consideration that the other 4 months he spent for the remaining 5 months of the year, his goal is to spend a mean of $40 a month. Okay. How much does he spend in December, taking into consideration that the other 4 months does not sure if that wording I really like, but I think I get what they're saying. 15 plus 30 plus 25. Not that I could be any better at doing wording myself. Plus 70. And here's December. So those last 6 months. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, for remaining 5 months. Okay. So there's 5, not 6. Okay, so divide by 5. That's our mean formula. And they want us that to equal 40. When I was reading that, goal was spending a mean of $40 per month. I was thinking $40 amount each month, not an average of 40. I was reading it wrong. Okay, add these together. I might be able to do that without the calculator. It's 140 plus x over 5 equals 40. Okay, going to multiply both sides by 5, trying to get the x by itself. And when we do that, these 5's going to cancel. And we got 140 plus x is equal to 200. And take the 140 over, and we got 200 minus 140, or x is equal to 60. Assuming I read the problem correctly. Let's see. 60. Good. So file new 1900 900. Okay, so to the next problem. 28. I see the end. I see the end. Okay, 2 investments totaling $31,000 produce an annual income. One yields 7% while the other yields 10%. Okay, so we got our first investment, and we got our second investment. All they tell us is that they total up to 31,000. So this one's going to be x, and this one will be 31,000 minus x. That's always a setup on that. When they don't tell you the amounts on these at all, they just say they add up to this. One of them's x, and the other one's your total minus x. Okay, so then we're going to have our amount times percent. This is for investment 1, plus our amount times investment for second investment. And that's going to give us our total interest. Okay, produced an annual income of $2,635. One investment yields 7%. I'll just say this one's a 7% account. And the other one's 10%. In case you're wondering, it does not matter which one you specify which at this point. Just as long as the 7% goes with whatever you have over here. Okay, so I put the x here, and then 7% here. And 10% I put here, and then 31,000 minus x I put here. So we got 0.07x. Take 0.10 times 31,000. 31,000 times 0.10. We get 3,100. 0.10 times negative x gives us negative 0.1x equals 2635. I think that's negative 0.03x, but let's see. Negative 0.03x. Let's see, negative 0.1 plus 0.07, negative 0.03, yeah, equals 2,635. Now we'll get everything with an x on one side, numbers on the other. So I'll take this, I'll move it over to the right side, take this, move it over to the left side. So we got 3,100 minus 2,635 is equal to 0.03x. 3,100 minus 2,635 gives us 465 equals 0.03x. Then divide both sides by 0.03. And let's see what we get. 465 divided by 0.03. 15,500. Which is x, which is this first one. So that's 15,500. The second one is 31,000 minus what we just found. That's interesting. It's exactly the same. I'm not sure if that leaves me feeling good. Let's go check if that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. 29. Oh. It says, you know the perimeter is 35. Perimeter of a square. Find the length of one side. So L we don't know, I guess. I'll use L. Without substitution, solve the formula for the unknown variable. Now, perimeter of a square, each side is the same, so that's L, that's L, that's L, that's L. Perimeter is the distance around, so perimeter is going to equal to 4L. Okay, so we want to solve for L. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And we got P over 4 is equal to L. And let me check that. S is equal to P over 4, but same idea. I just use a different variable. So let's take a look at number 30 now. We got P is equal to A plus B plus C, and want to solve for B. On this one, we just take the A and C over the left side, and then we'll be done. P minus A minus C is equal to B. And P minus A minus C. Okay, that looks good. And we're done.